My name's Duncan Kelm, and I built my practice my way. I'm Duncan Kelm, and I am the managing partner of ArrowPoint Wealth Management. We're located in Sonoma County, and more specifically Santa Rosa, California, in the North Bay area. A little after college, I got picked up to play on the Olympic rugby team for a short period of time. And quickly after that, I recognized it wasn't going to be my long-term career, physically or lucratively. I worked as a consultant and worked in a lot of data analytics, so database systems and process-oriented systems. And a lot of what my responsibility was analyzing data and synthesizing it into something that was cohesive and understandable and digestible for the ultimate client. A lot of that correlates today where we work in data, whether it's evaluating investments for clients or evaluating a tax scenario for a specific client or business, and being able to translate that data analysis into financial services, I think has really helped me a lot. I transitioned back into what I went to school for, which was finance, and ultimately started consulting in San Diego. Finished down in San Diego with one of the top 5 consulting firms. It was at that time I was starting a family. I wanted to transition into a more work-life balance type of position. And I approached my father, Bruce, who's also my partner, to potentially link up and join him. But the itch to be independent and be an entrepreneur took us to ultimately founding ArrowPoint Wealth Management, where we are today. Yeah, the question about working with your father, it's an interesting one, right? I'm lucky. We get along great. We have complete open communication, which I think is essential to any familial relationship. So we operate under the mindset that it's a business of family, not a family of business. There's some huge benefits to being a multi-generational family practice, and we've gotten to see that over the course of the last 4 years. I reached a point at my prior employer where I was just not able to deliver what I felt was the best solutions for our clients. I reached a point that if a change didn't happen at some point, I was probably going to have to exit the industry, which today in hindsight would have been catastrophic because I wake up energized and empowered and so excited to be doing what I'm doing for our same exact clients. It's just a different environment, which makes all the difference. Being able to drive our own culture was a big decision factor, and ultimately choosing to become independent. When you work for someone else as an employee, regardless of how intuitive you are or how self-driven you are, ultimately it comes down to the culture that's preached to you. And that may be a phenomenal culture that you agree with 100%. It also might be something that you only have a 50% agreement with. So in terms of the transition, when you're moving from a corporate employee W-2 channel to an independent channel, it's a huge move. It's something you can't think about. It doesn't happen on a whim. And in a lot of ways, it needs to be planned for, and you need to trust the professionals because you really don't know what you don't know. I think we spent, over a year looking at different options, interviewing different places, figuring out what will be best for our clients, ultimately to end up where we did, which is LPL. And through that process, we were able to connect with a phenomenal group, and that's Gladstone Wealth Group. They're a small subset in the LPL ecosystem, and they play specifically with ex-wirehouse advisors, helping them move their business to LPL's infrastructure. So ultimately, the decision to transition came down to what was the best timing for our client. We wanted to make sure that we had control and were able to manage through some of the volatility we saw about 12 months ago in February and March of 2020, and got to a comfort level after multiple due diligence trips that we were landing and we were going to have the support we needed when we landed there to be empowered to start our own business, which is pretty incredible. Investment banking does bring big benefits to a very specific type of business and advisor, but for most financial advisors, they're not an M&A. Their job is making sure their clients are retired, stay retired, manage risk appropriately. From my perspective, the things that aren't available in the independent channel, at least for who we deal with and the folks we try and serve, you don't need it anyway, and it's almost a positive that you don't have. One of the things that gets thrown around a lot incorrectly is advisors who are with an independent place, well, it's because they can't hack it in, the big leagues, so to speak. It's actually the exact opposite, because you are doing so many things as an entrepreneur and a business owner that it is exactly what an advisor should be doing in terms of managing their own personal finances and their own business assets. So in my opinion, the idea that independent advisors aren't at the same class as wirehouse or corporate advisors just is completely incorrect. What they're allocating towards technology, it's an important priority, if not one of the most important priorities in the LPL infrastructure. Within the LPL ecosystem, they have a number of offerings, and it's great. You can add the ones that work. DocuSign's phenomenal. The integration with a lot of the systems and the single sign-on, it's powerful stuff. There's certain things that I just have frustrations with, and it's probably because I came from something else. And in that specific instance, I personally considered it better from where I came. So we use virtual admin, which, geez, in this day and age, in a virtual environment where everybody's, or not everybody, but a lot of people are working from home and remotely, it's been seamlessly integrated. And now we have a rock star. I've actually never met her. Her name's Sadie Gibson. She's a phenomenal admin assistant, and she's our lockdown expert in anything we need to do that involves opening new accounts, moving money, anything like that. We're 10 months into our move in establishing ArrowPoint Wealth Management. We have vastly exceeded the assets that we had when we went and left our previous firm. I think by about 25% now. Right now, we're looking at double-digit year-over-year growth, and we're only 10 months in, so that's exciting. The power in the ability to be able to stand up your own business, the tax benefits that come with that, their compensation structure, all these things feed materially into the benefit of being independent. When you couple that with the fact that you have the choice to build your practice how you want it, whether that's sourcing software for one client because it makes sense, or figuring out a way to have another outside business that isn't your primary, but also adds value to the wealth management side. Every feedback we've gotten is, you're able to offer these services for similar pricing and you're happier. We can see it in your faces, and we're supporting a small business, which in this time is a huge deal. One of the great thing about this industry, and the question being, what beyond being a financial advisor is important to you? The fact that I can answer that and I have time to dedicate to my passions or areas that I'm interested in, or family and friends, charities, that sort of thing, is incredible. One thing that's incredibly important is being able to be a father and a husband to my wife. So being around them and being able to raise them and spend time with them. The fact that I have the ability to go coach t-ball on evening nights and pick my daughter up from daycare and get that big hug at the end of the day that's literally, it just melts everything away. I don't have to worry about a thing. Specific advice on ultimately choosing to become independent. It's a mindset that I don't think is for everybody. If you are comfortable and you don't like to learn and be creative and nimble, probably not for you. But in my opinion, in this industry, the people who derive success are people who are constantly trying to learn, looking for new angles. So if you are of that mindset, a constant, never-ending learner, I try and be that, this is the perfect place to be. Honestly, you cannot find a better place that's more empowering. If you have that in you, that hunger to learn, do it now, do it sooner. Don't delay, do due diligence, but get going because it truly is phenomenal.